If you want to start winning a lot more games, then you really need to master the art of attack. And in this video, I'm going to share with you the 5 universal keys, the 5 universal principles to find proper, powerful attacking moves in any chess position. We're going to see the game from Garry Kasparov playing white. He's probably one of the best guys to learn the art of attack from, against his long-term rival Kramnik playing black. Now, right now it is white to play, and we're skipping the first opening moves just to reach the common middle game position where you can begin your attack. Now, what are the attacking moves while considering here? Well, theoretically, there are plenty of them. You can move your queen somewhere along the d file and attack there, or somewhere along this diagonal. You can possibly move your rook somewhere here, attack the king. Maybe you want to start your pawn storm, play just g4, g5, or move your knight. So there are a lot of moves that make some sense. And how do you pick the best move? How do you pick the most powerful move? Well, here is the first universal key. Usually in chess, a checkmate is delivered by a queen, and that's why when you just want to begin your attack, you need to bring your queen closer to opponent's king, and that's how Kasparov played queen to h6. From here, it attacks this pawn, and it, generally speaking, just becomes in the close proximity to the king. By the way, if this square is unavailable for the queen for some reason, you could at least bring it somewhere here, and it would still be active, and it would still control a lot of squares on the king side. But in this case, queen h6 is available, so it's even stronger. Now it's in the very close proximity. Now, since this pawn being attacked, black played queen to e6, bringing the queen back to defense. Now knight to d4. Now white can bring their knight to the attack with a tempo by attacking this queen. Queen comes here to b6. Now, what do you do next? Well, the next thing to consider is to consider the quantity of attackers and quantity of defenders. And the second principle is that quantity matters. Very often players just see that the king is exposed and think, okay, so I can have a great attack here. And it's partially true, but the actual truth is that you need to have an advantage in quantity of attackers compared to quantity of defenders, and only then your attack can be successful. Because right now, we've got 2 attacking pieces against 2 defenders, and right now you cannot achieve any real progress here, so you gotta have more pieces into the attack. And with that in mind, Kasparov played rook h3, preparing rook g3 check to the king. So black played king to h8, and now white played bishop g4, bringing one more piece into the attack, and which is also important, white keeps attacking with his every move. And that's another attacking principle which I love to call keep punching, meaning you gotta try creating threats with your every move. Then your opponent has nothing to do but to defend, and he or she has no time to bring out reserves to consolidate the position somehow while you just keep developing your attack. So bishop g4 in this case creates a threat of maybe bishop f5 hitting here, or maybe knight f5 creating a threat of queen to g7 checkmate on the next move. So bishop g4 creates a number of threats. Black played rook g8, which is definitely a good move, bringing the rook closer to the king, attacking this bishop, and here comes another important thing, which is, I think, one of the most overlooked attacking ideas of all, which is offense is the best defense. Now, usually, when your piece is attacked, your initial natural reaction is just to do something about that, to move this bishop somewhere, right? So a lot of players would just play something like bishop f5 here. I'm pretty sure about that. Or maybe rook g3 just to defend it. But before thinking about defense, you don't really want defense, right? Maybe you will have to settle for it if there is nothing better, but offense is the best defense. So first of all, I would encourage that you still look for attacking moves, and very often you'll find them. This game is actually a perfect example. Kasparov all of a sudden played a beautiful move knight e6, which is an interference. We are breaking up the connection between black's queen and this pawn on f6, so that if the knight is taken, white can now win this pawn on f6 and start a direct attack of black's king. Black didn't play this move in the game, but just for a second, let's explore what would happen if pawn takes here. Then now queen takes f6, check to the king, rook to g7 is forced, and now black is kind of completely paralyzed with this pin and with this attack. White can even attack with a simple move such as rook to d7, exerting strong pressure along the 7th rank, so that we're attacking the knight. If it ever goes away, then there is just queen to g7 checkmate. So that's really bad for black. And for this reason, Kramnik refused to accept the sacrifice, and instead he defended this pawn by playing rook g6, also hitting the queen. Queen went here to f4, and all of a sudden it attacks this rook. So again, Kasparov keeps punching. With his every move, he delivers some attack. Kramnik played rook to e8, to bring this rook out of danger. And that's about the point where it becomes really exciting, and it's a true masterpiece, and Kasparov here shows why many consider him to be the GOAT. By the way, let me know, who do you consider the best player of all times? Usually people kind of consider between Fischer, Carlsen and Kasparov, I'd say, but I'm curious to know who you think is the best. Now, Kasparov played rook d6. He's keep punching, keep developing attacking moves, this time attacking the queen as well as bringing the rook closer to the opponent's territory. Black also, we gotta give credit to a black player. Kramnik responded knight to d5, also following the motto offense is the best defense. White attacked black's queen, but black counter-attacking white's. And here's the moment of truth. It's really one-in-a-lifetime situation where both queens are hanging and none of them moves, but instead Kasparov plays a really brilliant move, pawn h5. Just playing a move forward, keeps adding fuel to the fire, never back down, never retreat, and just creates threat of pawn takes g6. Well, finally black decided to start capturing something, pawn takes g6, and this comes to the final, the fifth principle of the attack. It's to keep playing forcing moves. Now, it's quite close to playing attacking moves, but forcing moves are also checks and captures. This is also part of those moves that force particular response of your opponent, leaving them no time for anything else. And in this case, as you start capturing, black has to respond, like captures here, and temporarily black has a significant material advantage. But thanks to a series of forcing moves, check to the king goes here, check to the king once again, white actually regains all the material. And after king takes here, there is pawn takes here on e8, and not only regaining all the lost material, but also promoting a new queen. And it's actually quite remarkable how this little pawn standing there on h4 made this brilliant career, and it seems that the American dream is still alive. This hardworking pawn can make it in life. Okay, so black took here on e6, and white keeps, instead of just capturing, white keeps playing the most forcing moves, and the most forcing move is a check, because it forces an opponent's king to move, and there is nothing else black can do. King g7, once again, instead of just capturing, Kasparov keeps attacking, keeps delivering forcing moves. King went here to f8, queen takes f6, check, king goes to e8, and now bishop takes e6, finally. So that's actually the final outcome of this really long and well thought out combination by Garry. And currently, when the dust settles, we can see that white is a pawn up in this endgame, but in addition to that, white keeps attacking. This pawn is still caged and in danger. Black desperately tried to offer an exchange of queens, hoping to maybe try to make a draw in this endgame, but Kasparov played a deadly blow, bishop b7. Deflecting the king from the defense, and after king takes d7, white is winning the queen and the game. If you want to bring it one step further, you may attend my free masterclass where we can train these skills together so that you automate them and actually start using them in your games. Also, you may wish to check out this video, which shows Kasparov's beauty in the Sicilian defense, and if you're playing Sicilian defense with either color, you may wish to check this out. Have a beautiful day, take care.